Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I promised you that I would work on this question and give you a video for it. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's get rid of this. You already have the PDFs for that one. And let's move this up. Let's get rid of some of this stuff because we don't need it. And off we go. So this is the question I left you with. Let's take a look at the transformations that we have happening here. This is the first transformation that I see, and that is a vertical stretch by a multiple of 1.5. The other way to think about this is that is your A value. And so your amplitude is going to be given by the absolute value of 3/2 or 1.5 units. So that means that this curve is going to go up 1.5 from its horizontal and down 1.5 from its horizontal. But the transformation itself, the transformation is a vertical stretch. And it's a vertical stretch from the original base curve of sine, theta. So your second transformation that I see here is the 2. That is definitely a horizontal compression. Yes, it is. It's a compression. So what does that mean? Well, in terms of our values, that is k equals 2. And so if k equals 2, that means that our period is going to be 360 divided by k. So it's 360 divided by 2, it's 180 degrees. So I've got a period that used to be 360, it's now 180, which that was a horizontal compression by a multiple of 1/2. That's what we multiplied the period by 1/2. Or you could say a horizontal compression by a factor of 2. They both work, and we've had this conversation before. So critical interval, however, that's going to be when everything interesting happens. That's going to be the period divided by 4. So that's going to be 180 divided by 4. So that's going to be 45 degrees. So this, what I have here is my horizontal axis scale. I'm going to go up by 45s, and I need to go out to 180 so I can see one full cycle. This is my vertical axis scale. I better be able to see 1.5 units above and 1.5 units below the x-axis. Now let's be clear here. This is the transformation. This is the transformation. What I've written in blue is what I do to graph it. The transformations is what's written in pink. Those are the transformations from the base curve. The last transformation that we have sitting here is this guy. And that is a horizontal shift to the right 180 degrees. The other way we would talk about that is a phase shift. Yes, Katie, we have to use that word, phase shift, phase angle. Yes, it does mean a horizontal shift, Ella, but we're going to call it phase shift and phase angle. Way to call you out at home, I know. Way to go, Mr. White. So it's a phase shift of 180 degrees to the right. And again, I will fully accept a horizontal shift. That's not a problem. Okay, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to take this information, I'm now going to sketch it for one cycle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my axes. And so my axes are boom and boom. And I know I want to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know I want 45, 90, 1, or not 180, that'd be 35, 135, and 180. But I also know that it's going to be shifted to the right another 180 degrees. So I need enough room to be able to go 1, 2, 3, and look at that, just enough, just made it. Beautiful. Otherwise, I'd be moving my vertical axis back a little bit. So this is another 45, so that's going to be 225. and this will be another 45, so that'll be 6, 2, 4, I better use a calculator. I think I can do it in my head. I think it's 270. It is. It's 270. And then 270 plus another 45 is going to be 315. And then 315 is going to be 360. So here we go. I know I need to go up to 1.5. I know I need to go down to negative 1.5. And there is no vertical shift, so that's good enough. So this is the y-axis. And this is my theta axis. And it's sine curve, so I'm going to start off by sketching 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0. And what I have here is I have y equals 3 over 2 sine 2 theta. But now I want to do the horizontal shift, so I want everything to move this way, 180 degrees. So I'm going to take this first point, I'm going to move 45, I'm going to move 45, 90, 135, 180. So that point gets moved to here. This point gets moved to here. This point gets moved to here. This point gets moved to here. I think you can tell what's going to happen. Our wavelength gets moved. That was a horrible looking, I would yell at you guys so bad for that. Let's see here. Not bad. So now this is y equals 3 over 2 sine 2 theta minus 180 degrees. And I'm done. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's all I have to do for that one. Point notation, if we're going to talk about point notation. Point notation from the base curve. Remember, the base curve is y equals sine theta. So it's going to be theta sine theta, or probably better, theta comma y we'll work with. And remember, it's becoming 3 over 2 sine 2 theta minus 180 degrees. So that'll become theta divided by 2. That is my horizontal. That is my horizontal compression. And then what I have going on here is I have a horizontal shift to the right. So we're going to have to add 180 degrees to that. And then what happens is we're going to have that vertical stretch of 3 over 2. So it's going to be 3 over 2 y. And so if we take the critical points of our original base curve, which is sine theta, we know that that's going to be 0 and 0. We know it's going to be 90 and 1. We know it's going to be 180 and 0, 270 and negative 1, and 360, comma 0. Now we're going to shift all of those guys over to this side. So it's going to be 0 over 2 plus 180, comma 3 over 2 times 0, which is going to be, 180, comma 0. Then the next one is going to be 90 over 2 plus 180, comma 3 over 2 times 1, which is going to be, 90 divided by 2 is 45, so it's 225, comma 1.5. And then the next one is going to be 180 divided by 2, so 270, comma 0. And the next one's going to be 270 divided by 2. That's hard. I'm using my calculator now. 270 divided by 2 plus 180. That's going to be 315, comma negative 1.5. And finally, 360 divided by 2 is 180, plus 180 is 360. Go figure. Times 0. Okay, let's make sure that all of those points are on this curve. Here's 180, comma 0. Yep. Here's 225, comma 1.5. Yep. Here's 270, comma 0. Yep. And I'm done going yep. And that is it. So I will post this to the LMS, and there you go. So study. We have something new coming up tomorrow, and we have our test on Friday. All right, kids, be back in a minute.